Who shouldn't obey scum, die!
Guess I know what I need to do now. Impressive. A barrel filling machine for the oil, I believe. Oil barrels. Not a careful excavation, it seems.
From somewhere deep within the inner workings of the machine comes an irregular clanking sound, then a weak gurgle. Inoperable, it seems. The machine churns into life. Gears rotate. It settles into a slow metallic chug. Ready for the next lever, perhaps. The machine churns. It settles into a slow metallic. There is a sudden
I've seen places like this in books. Never thought I'd see something like this in reality.
This is the archaeological discovery of a lifetime. What a way to die, down here in this darkness. Poor soul.
The curious sculpture comes alive as you reach out to touch it. It thrums with power and throws flickering, dancing shadows against the walls. The carving is covered in strange glyphs that feel oddly familiar. They surround a gently glowing stone that makes you think of the night sky rolled into a ball. Trying to read the symbols, you hear a faint whispering at the back of your mind, as if you're listening to the echoes of a past age. Your mind swims, and, for a moment, the glyphs become clear. You read, "Our first lords babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that flowed. Our thirds young to the wind return, our fourths to glowing flames adjourn." Our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed, our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. Our seventh's brood spread from earth to glen, and thus no king shall rise again. You try to hold your focus as the whispering echo fades, but the letters waver, contorting and merging until they're nothing but meaningless glyphs once more.
A riddle from the past. Or maybe a riddle about the past.
The sculpture is covered in strange glyphs. The only trying to read the symbols, your mind swims. You read, "Our first lords babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that flowed. Our thirds young to the wind return, our fourths to glowing flames adjourn. Our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed, our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. Our seventh's brood spread from earth to glen, and thus no king shall rise again." You try to hold your focus.
Samardia, the mother of wizards. Sendilius, poet and patron god of the elves.
The sculpture your mind swim. You read, "Our first lords babes with power glowed, our seconds born in blood that are us." You
Duna, the stoutest of the seven. Blessed Zolstis, an elegant god for our elegant people.
The sculpture is covered in trying to your minds. You read, our fifth lord's cubs with minds were blessed. Our sixths had brawn beyond the rest. Our seventh's you try to hold your foot.
Xantetzi, the god of the oars, Vrogir.
Ralik, I used to pray to you when I was young.
That's it. We're through.
What on the name of Lucian's prize pig is going on here? I wonder what they did in life to deserve such a resting place.
As the creature crawls from the sarcophagus, you hear a gasp of breath. Fane steps forward, never taking his eyes off her.
I must speak to her. It is vital. Please, stand aside.
You hear a gasp from the creature as Fane steps forward. It speaks in a hissing, clicking language that seems both completely alien and somewhat familiar. Fane raises his head and responds in the same jolting, clicking tongue. He seems to be pleading with the creature, his hands outstretched. The creature looks down at him and shrieks in rage. Her gestures are quick, strong, and violent. Whatever she said, it seems to have devastated your friend. The verbal barrage continues, but something changes within Fane. He looks up and golden light pours from his skull. When he speaks next, you understand every word, but you're not sure the words are his own.
Aetera. I had hoped to see you turn to dust in this tomb. Alone, forgotten, with only your secrets for comfort.
Lady Amadia? You possess him? Have you fallen so far that you seek shelter within that? Does your vessel even know what you did? The war you started, the greed and avarice that saw you betray the Eternals?
The glow fades, and Fane seems to return to himself. He staggers slightly, exhausted by everything that's happened. The creature turns away from him, and, panting, turns. The creature looks down from its perch, trembling. It crawled out of that sarcophagus as if it had forgotten how to move its limbs. It turns to you, and you see its face is covered by an intricate mask. From behind its unmoving lips, you hear a noise. It starts as a groaning, croaking chatter, but slowly becomes more distinct. It's speaking.
Me Saravel te de larontu, Shamory?
The stream of noise cuts off abruptly. After a moment, you hear a jolting, lurching voice.
It wears the face of Rallick, but speaks the tongue of beasts. How cruel. I suspected the Seven Lords won the war after they locked me here, but seeing their faces on dumb creatures, a depressing confirmation. Gods? What is this senseless braying? The Seven Lords were Eternals, just as I am.
Deep within your soul, you feel your god stirring at the sound of the voice. You can feel its anger and fear swelling inside you. The creature leans forward to get a better look at you, clucking and tutting under...
It seems to be a simple form at its core, a source vat. A walking, unfortunately talking, source vat. Fast, I wonder how to extract the source from the vessel without...
She pulls back suddenly, recoiling in horror.
It is rotting. Almost imperceptibly, but it decays before my eyes. It does not even have a century left.
The god within you reacts, his emotions a cocktail of fury and fear. You hear his voice, demanding that you give him control, demanding your body obey his will.
Atira, you worm! An eternity locked away was too good for you. I should have seen you ground to dust and fed to the wind. Your heresies deserve nothing less.
The figure recoils, as if struck.
Rallick, what happened to you? Did you truly fall so far?
Silence! It is your king that has fallen. He and all the other eternal cowards were flung into the void, and the power you were too scared to hunt has made me a god.
And yet here you stand, small, weak, decaying. I will not even need the Aeteran to grind you into the dust.
You feel your guard freeze at the mention of this Aeteran, a cold terror settling in your chest.
Where is it?
Ha! Of course you never found it. You always lacked imagination, Lord Rallick. I hid it in these very caves, although I can feel its distance now. Someone has uncovered it. Perhaps they intend to flay the godliness from you. No matter. Given your pathetic state, it is mine to collect at my leisure. As for that monstrosity you have made your shell, it was designed to die, and I think it is time that design were fulfilled. Do not worry. The source shall not be wasted. It will carry me from this tomb. It will bring me freedom at last.